Warning, viewers' discretion is advised as this may contain mature or triggering content. Title: Unexpected Fates, Part 7. Ceres was still stuck in the cave. He had tried telling Myrna he didn't need the herbs anymore. But only a day passed before she lost her fake composure of Aurora and forced him to drink it, all while smiling. What made things worse was she made sure it was a stronger dose. He hadn't been able to move a muscle since. When she suddenly rushed out of the cave, vanishing for hours, he thought it meant freedom was just around the corner, hoping Britina and Ervo had finally figured out he wasn't pouting in his world, and they had come to rescue him. What he hadn't expected was for Myrna to return in her original form. She smirked as she stood over him, her straight brown hair, red eyes, and non-soft freckled face hovering over him. "You don't seem shocked." Not that I should be surprised, but I was at least hoping for some sort of reaction. After all, didn't you feel something for this face? As she spoke, Aurora's gentle face appeared, but he felt appalled instead of enchanted. She crouched down, running a fingertip along the angles of his face. "Not that you could even react if you wanted to. Did you know the herb I gave you isn't even from your world? It's not even from Estral. I was gifted it by Nua's rival. Yeah, isn't that some news? There are other beings like Nua." Amorite had gone on about something with balance and such, but I really didn't listen. You know, all I ever cared about was you. Her fingertips fluttered across his lips, and Ceres wanted to bite them off. "Isn't it funny, my love? How much you struggled, the amount of pain you went through to get away from me, only to fall right back into my clutches again." She chuckled as she stood. "Should I share with you how your friends reacted after finding out my minion could kill them? Oh, better yet, I'll share with you Britina's exact words. You aren't worth them losing their powers or lives." Another giggle left Myrna. "And here I thought you guys were so tight-knit. But I guess, when it comes down to it, that's how little they care for you." It hurt hearing something like that, but a part of Ceres couldn't help but feel happy. Happy about the fact Ervo and Britina would be able to start over, that they still had each other. If he were to die, but knew the two of them were happy, then he would gladly sacrifice himself for their happiness. A small smile lifted the corner of Ceres's mouth, and it made Myrna growl. "Oh, come on, can't you at least cry? Why are you smiling like a fool? I just told you the people you thought cared so much about you left you, with me." Ceres pushed through the haze of drugs, through the shadows around Myrna's mind. "I'm just happy they can be happy." It was a soft, faint echo of his voice, and even doing that left him exhausted. Myrna clenched her fists. "You have always been so loving and caring for everyone except me," she shouted, and he noticed then tears were falling from her face. She was still able to cry after everything she'd done? A small part of him felt a tug at his heart, not for the current Myrna, but for the one he had grown up with, for the sweet, unbloodied girl he knew before she became this twisted thing that now stood before him, preaching about her deep affection that he could never view as affection. She simply wished to possess him, as if he were an object she could buy at a store. He remained silent, not bothering to waste his energy for her again. She turned, leaving him alone in the cave, leaving him to try and fight off the strange drug. Nua's home. "Since this creature's powers burn through your powers, it likely means that it has a portion of Amorite's power. As I said, I will help you create this beast. Is this the body structure you wish for it to have?" Ervo nodded. "Our people have been hunted by something that resembles a strange, large, shadowy wolf-like creature. So I want to create the Guardian of Kaya to be different. It shouldn't face the scorn of our people." Nua smiled. "I see. You've drawn up 2 forms, though. Does this mean it shifts? You do know whenever it activates that, it will take a decent amount of your power. He nodded. I wanted to give it this soft, gentle form for the people. It will get along well with the children. But when it comes to battle, it grows and changes, going from a friendly, large house cat to a fierce, lionish tiger beast. Nua's golden eyes roamed over the drawn outlines of the feline-looking creature. Its normal form was that of a white feline with golden stripes. Standing next to the outline of a human, it was about 22 inches tall. It had thick, soft fur and soft green eyes, something that would look approachable. The next form grew to be larger than a tiger, standing a little over 5 feet tall from the ground to the tip of its ears, with a thick mane of white fur around its throat to protect its throat from attacks. Its legs were thick, muscular limbs with a thick tail that would help keep it balanced perfectly. Golden-colored claws pierced through the white fur, and golden-colored fangs crept out of its mouth. The soft green eyes still held a touch of softness, but it certainly was a force to be reckoned with. A creature that shouted out. It was a guardian, pure and strong. This is perfect. You always had a knack for creating what was exactly needed. Yet another reason Amorite has always been jealous of you guys. And yes, I mean your group specifically. Britina, while Ervo and I work on creating this, you focus on storing the needed knowledge regarding our creature. Britina nodded. Already on it. I plan to make it as if there was always a prophecy about a creature that would come from the skies to defeat any darkness that may arise within their world. I also plan to form scrolls with such information dating back. When the creature enters the world, we shall have a golden mist fall from the skies. That will be the sign that their guardian has awakened. This could let the monster and Myrna know something is up, but they wouldn't be able to find out what it is in time. Nua nodded. Truly brilliant, she said with a proud tone. Then all that will leave is me getting Ceres and asking him if he will replace Amorite. Britina and Ervo glanced at each other. What if Ceres refuses? Ervo asked. Nua frowned. Didn't I already tell you? I will do my best to find someone different, as fast as possible. Britina frowned. And what happens if you can't find someone else? Nua let out a deep sigh. Then we better pray I find a different way, because if I don't, everything will come crashing down around us. Ervo groaned. That doesn't leave much choice, does it? You know he won't allow that to happen. Yes, I do know, but I also know that he cannot force himself to choose this option. If he tries to force it, if his soul is not up for it, then it will not happen. Even though the options are not favorable, it can't be forced upon him. A small smile crossed Britina's face. That's good. Ervo's brow twitched. How is that good? She rested a hand on his shoulder. It means this choice is solely up to Ceres' heart and soul to decide. Absolutely no one and nothing can force him to make a decision he doesn't want. So, he will truly be deciding his own fate. We can at least rest easy with that knowledge. A soft sigh left Ervo. I guess. Well, let's get this finished. Britina nodded, closing her eyes and opening a worldwide connection with their creations. It was far more risky doing this sort of connection, as it opened up Britina's soul to their creations. She dove into the depths of their minds, placing the needed knowledge of the Guardian. After making sure they remained steady and frozen in place, she then teleported to their world, placing the books, scrolls, and even a few paintings in the allotted places. Double-checking to make sure the people's minds had accepted the information as a whole before letting go of the connection. As she did that, Ervo and Nua stood together, their hands placed over each other's as they concentrated. Slowly the skeleton of the creature formed. Strong, thick, golden-colored bones began stacking and cracking into place. Then the muscles, tendons, and flesh slithered along the structure. Tough, thick skin followed, and soft, pure white fur sprouted from its body. before golden stripes appeared. With the final touches done, it opened its green eyes. It was stunning. Even in its normal and cuter form, it held a majestic presence. Light seemed to flow off its fur. "Hello, my masters. It's nice to meet you." Ervo nodded. "Yes, it is nice to meet you. We don't need to explain why you've been created, as you already know." It nodded its head, instantly changing from its normal form to its battle form. Golden mist circled around its body as it grew. "I'm ready to fight. Just send me in." When Britina returned from their world, she gasped as she was greeted by the Guardian. "My other master." "Hello," she said as she stared at the giant feline. "What is its name?" Ervo and Nuwal glanced at each other before nodding. "Anwar," Ervo stated with a proud smile. Britina nodded. "Well met, Anwar, our brightest radiance." Instead of rushing blindly in, the four of them discussed a plan to get Ceres back and defeat the beast in Myrna. It wouldn't be easy, but Britina and Ervo both felt more confident now that Nuwal was with them in this battle. The next day, Anwar stood ready, his golden claws extended as far as they could without being uncomfortable. His eyes darted to Nuwal as she placed a hand on Britina and Ervo, making their bodies glow. He was sure it was some sort of power enhancement. Ervo would leave first, teleporting directly in front of Myrna despite the strange force field she had up last time. After creating Anwar, it was clear that both Britina and Ervo had gained more power, and now with a boost from Nuwal, it made them feel undefeatable. The plan was for Ervo to distract Myrna, asking if there was a way they could work things out, perhaps even allowing her back into their group so she could be by Ceres' side. Even if it meant Ceres and Britina would end up hating him for it, claiming that he couldn't just stand by like Britina and let something happen without trying anything. Even if it meant doing something he never wanted. In a sense, he wasn't lying. If there were no other options, he would do this, or at least he would try to. He wasn't sure how well he'd actually do keeping to his words of letting Myrna do as she wished. Britina would soon follow, trying to stop Ervo, making sure her original idea was firmly in place. And, as they started to fight, they hoped Myrna would react like they planned, taking them away from Ceres. Anwar would arrive with Nuwal, even though they would land in different locations. Since Myrna's minion was the polar opposite of Anwar, and he was created to destroy the beast, the two would instinctively be drawn together, and a battle would take place. This would leave Myrna alone to face off with Ervo and Britina, leaving the perfect opening for Nuwal to sneak in and save Ceres, taking him back to her home to heal him. Of course, this would have to happen quickly. If Amorite figured out that Nuwal was involved, then two gods would end up fighting on a planet, and there would be no one to survive. One wrong move, and all of it would be a lost cause. Everything would fall apart and Nuwal's creation as a whole would die out, as if Amorite and her universes never existed. They couldn't prepare any more than this. It was now or never. Ervo glanced at them, giving them a soft smile before vanishing, setting their plan into motion. To be continued. We're getting closer to the end, guys. I know, I left it off at such a bad part, but I knew if I kept going, then this one would be super, super long, and I didn't want to do that. So, the ending for right now is here, and I am going to try and get part 8 posted next Wednesday. Seems how school is back in session, and that gives me a bit more free time to actually get the story parts done and recorded. Anyways, I hope you guys are still enjoying this. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!